Yeah. Good evening, all. So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether my screen is visible or not, right?
Yes.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Thank you. One second. Yes. Okay. So in the last demo session, right? Just I was briefing you about Python. It has got features from multiple programming language. We call Python as a hybrid language, right? So Python has got that concept of modular programming. Python has got modular programming features, scripting features, object-oriented programming features, functional programming features. As part of our course, we are going to discuss all this, right? Functional programming with Python, object-oriented programming with Python, and modular programming with Python, right? Writing many scripts. We have got many modules related to that, right? So I'll be discussing the modules from different domains, right? How with some models related to database background, some models related to operating system, some models related to graphic, some models related to data science, some models related to big data, and how to create our own modules in Python, right? Yes. Python is a kind of technology which is not very recently introduced in the market. It was introduced like 30 years back. Why all of a sudden Python has got a great boom, right? Reasons which makes Python suddenly super popular, right? Okay. Very less coding you are going to see in Python. Simple and easy syntaxes, multi-programming features, many built-in modules, interactive mode, wide varieties of applications, right? Yes. So some of the applications built by using Python, some applications built by using Python, and top most applications built using Python, right? Google using Python. It's one of the greatest examples of Python web applications. Yahoo using Python, right? YouTube using Python for its video sharing service. Instagram using Python, right? Instagram is built by using Python. The prime reason for this Instagram choosing for this Python because of this practicality, right? NASA using Python because of its hybrid features. Uber is using Python. Uber pricing algorithm implemented using Python. Okay. So today I discussed, right, before I go with the basics of Python. Before I go with the installation of Python, I show you the step by step how to download and how to install Python. You need to know something about this Python Software Foundation, right? PSF, Python Software Foundation. PSF, right? Okay. So it is a non-profit organization devoted towards Python community, right? Yes. It was launched in the year, it was launched in the year 2001, almost like 21 years back it was launched. And the main objective of this PSF, main objective is so version to version to faster the development of Python. Faster the development of Python, right? In the year 2004, PSF, Python Software Foundation, received Computer World Horizon Award. Computer World Horizon Award, right? For the cutting edge technology in the year 2004. Fine. Can anyone please confirm through chat panel, right? Can anyone please type whether my voice is clear or not? Can you please type in the chat panel saying that, okay, whether the voice is clear or not? Yes.
Yes, sir.
And thank you. I got enough confirmations, right? So here, the president for this PSF, president is nothing but the personality who developed Python, right? The president for Python Software Foundation is nothing but the personality who developed Python, right? Guido van Rossum. Guido van Rossum. The same personality is the president for this PSF. Rossum is the president. And headquarters, Delaware, United States, right? USA, right? Official website for Python. Python.org is the official website of Python, from where we are going to download this. Python.org is the site from where we are going to download Python software, and we can see the documentation for each and every Python release, right? So before I go with this installation, like Python versions, what versions of Python, which is the latest version, what are the stable versions of Python? Python versions. Python 1.x version, right? Python 1.x version. It was released in the year, right? 1990. Second, Python 2.x version was released in the year 2000, right? Python next, Python 3.x version, right? Two point X means 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, right? These versions. Yeah. 3 version, 3.x. Python 3 version was released in the year 2008. So almost like 14 years ago, Python 3 version was released. That the version that we are using currently is 3. Latest version of Python. Latest version of Python, right? Okay, Python 3.10. Latest version of Python, Python 3.10, right? Yes. Stable version of Python. Okay, Python 3. Stable version of Python, Python 3.7, right? Stable version, nothing but mostly used version. Previous stable version. Python 2.7, right? Python 2.7. So the version that we are using currently is 3.10. 3 version was reached in the year 2008. So now let me show you the Python installation. Python is a cross-platform language. It can run on any platform like Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. For Linux, there is no need of any separate installation, right? By default, along with this Linux OS, we see Python as an inbuilt within this Linux environment. Okay. Python installation. Okay, I'll just show you from the scratch how to download and how to install, right? Before that, go to this programs, settings, apps, Python 3.10.3, right? Yes, uninstall it. I'll uninstall again. I will reinstall this, right? Yes, Python 3.10.3. So Python providing different softwares for different environments, right? It is providing different softwares for different environments. For Windows, separate software. For Linux, separate software. For Mac OS, separate software, right? And for Windows 32-bit separate software. For Windows 64-bit separate software. How will you check whether your Windows is a 32-bit or a 64-bit, right? So for checking that whether your Windows, so just I'll minimize this uninstallation, let it grow. Fine. Okay. Right click on your PC or computer, say properties. Can you see here 64 system type, 64-bit operating system, 64-bit operating system, right? Yes. Okay. So if it is 32-bit, if you are using like Windows 7 or Windows 8, if it is 32-bit, you are supposed to download 32-bit Python software. If it is 64-bit operating system, you can download 64-bit Python software, right? So uninstallation is successful. Close this, close it. Now open Chrome, open a browser. What is the official website of Python, right? Official website of Python, python.org, right? Python.org, official website of Python, from where we can download and install Python, right? Yes. Fine. Downloads. If you want to see the documentation of Python, you can just check the documents in the downloads, all releases, right? Downloads, all releases. You can just scroll down, right? Scroll down, right? Don't go for active Python releases. Just you can scroll down and check. Looking for a specific release. Looking for a specific release, right? You can just go to this python.org downloads folder. Okay. In that, looking for a specific release. Python 3.10.4, right? See, when it was released, March 24, 2022, just 3 days ago, right? 4 days back, it was released. 4 days ago, it was released. March 24, 2000. So you can see all the Python versions from the last 20 years, right? From the last 20 years, what all the Python versions, right? You can see all the Python versions from the last 20 years. 3 versions, 2 versions. 2.0.1 June 22, 2001, right? 2001. Okay. Scroll up. Select any latest version 3.10.4. Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Sir, I'm using a very old laptop. So mine is Windows 7, and I apparently see that Python 9 and above don't cannot be installed on Windows 7.
Python 3.9 and above can't be installed, it is saying.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can go with Python older versions like 3.5.
Okay, so will there be any major difference that I will experience in the both
No,
versions?
no.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Okay, see that whether it is 32-bit or 64-bit. If it is 32-bit, you need to download 32-bit, right? So how we can download the 32 and 64-bit? For example, while selecting this version 3.10.4. Okay. Scroll down 3.10.4. If you scroll down, right? Here it will show the files. It will show the files, right? Yes. Can you see here for Mac OS, for Linux, for Windows 32-bit, for Windows 64-bit, right? Windows 32 and 64-bit. So here it shows whether it is 32 or 64. If it is 32, you can download 32. 32-bit can work in both 32 and 64, but 64 cannot work in 32, right? So if it is 64, download 64. If your system is 32-bit, you can just work with Windows installer, right? 64-bit. It just takes 1 minute to download this, right? Of 27 MB of size. So download started. 27 MB of size, right? So I said 89,300 inbuilt modules Python is providing for various domains, right? All those modules you are not going to see along with this Python software. Only commonly used modules you see along with this, right? So, okay, download is completed. So the modules which are not available or which won't come along with the Python software, we are supposed to download and install later, right? We call those modules as external modules, the modules which you want to explore, right? Means if not present within this Python software, we are supposed to download and install using a component called pip. Later I'll demonstrate about those external modules, how to download and how to install them. Your download is completed, Python software is downloaded, click it or go to the downloads folder. Don't immediately go for installation, right? Don't immediately go for installation. Add Python 3.10 to path. Select this, right? Add Python 3.10 to path variable of OS, right? Go for customize installation. Okay, go for customize installation, right? Here nothing to select, or everything is pre-selected, it's already selected, right? So documentation you are going to get pip, ideally integrated development environment, where you are going to write the Python code, right? Python. Okay, just to say next, no need of any selections, right? So next. So advanced options, that don't forget to view this where your Python is getting installed in C, users, Dell, app data, local programs, Python 3.10. So tomorrow, if you want to install any external module, we are supposed to type this entire path, right? Instead of entering this big path, right? We can just give a smaller path. Just install Python in the C drive. That's it. Remove all this, right? And try to install Python within this C drive. C Python 3.10. Okay, fine. So you remove all that, just say Python 3.10 means 3.10 within the C drive, remove all the other path and just say install, that's it. Okay, it just hardly takes 1 minute for installing Python, right? So installation in progress, just 1 second. Yeah, setup was successful, just close it and check whether your Python is successfully installed or not, right? Just close it. At the bottom search panel, right? Just type CMD to go to the command prompt. Just type CMD and say enter. Just type Python here. Just type Python and say enter. It is showing that it should show the Python version that you have installed, and the Python, see this 3 arrow symbol, Python interpreter should get open, right? Here you can type any valid Python statements and interact with Python statement by statement. What is 5 plus 4? I'm asking. It displays the what is 4 into 6? 24. So if you want to define variables in Python, no need to define the data type like int x, float, or string x, right? X has 10, x plus 2, x into 2, x to the power of 2, power symbol, 10 square, 100, right? So in this way, you can interact with Python. If you want to come out of this, say quit method, right? Yes, if you want to come out of this interactive mode, come out, right? Okay, so this Python is working fine. So Python is successfully installed, right? So Python software foundation, Python version, Python installation. So if anybody, if you're working in Linux environment with Python, right? So no need of any installation. By default, Python comes as a inbuilt within this. So, but if you want, if your Linux is the older version, so you will get Python also little older version. So if you want latest version of Python to be installed in your Linux OS, the command, right? apt and get install, right? Python 3.10. If 3.10 not available, you can say 3.9, right? You are supposed to install this from the root user. So otherwise, like sudo, you can say apt and get install Python 3.10. So even if you have got a smartphone with you, even you can install Python within your smartphone and run and execute the code, right? Yes. Go to this Play Store. How will you install a normal app, right? Just in the same way, go to your Play Store and just say Python IDE, Integrated Development Environment. Just type Python IDE. Many IDs you are going to get, and select any one, right? For example, any one ID you can select. For example, Python 3. Okay, you can select any one ID, Python ID, and you can. So,
Sir,
yes.
is there any Unix system has been need to be installed or?
No, you want Python to be installed where? Which operating system?
Okay, 3.10 is with me.
No, you want Python to be installed in Windows or Linux or what?
Windows.
Okay, you can follow the steps what I said, right?
Yeah.
Any issue?
No.
Okay, you can just.
Python is installed, but I have some confusion with Unix because Unix system has been not installed on my system.
No, not a problem, right? If anybody wants specifically, they want Python to be executing within Linux, right? If anybody doesn't want to work with Windows, if anybody they want to work on Linux environment for those, right? So if it is Windows, it's fine for you. You can just.
Okay, sir. No issue.
If anybody who are updating with Python from Linux background, right? Okay, those I'm saying, right? If they want latest version of Python. So Python execution modes. Python execution modes, right? Okay. Two modes of execution. First one, interactive mode and batch mode. Interactive mode. Interactive mode, right? Okay. here just now I said that we can interact with Python statement by statement. We can type any valid Python statements and you can get the response, right? Here we directly type Python statements on the Python interpreter and the user can easily interact. We directly type Python statements on the interpreter and the user can easily interact with Python. Statement by statement. Okay, the advantage of interactive mode, right? So if it doesn't know about a particular functionality, you can just type on this interactive mode, you can check what response you are going to get from it to test the functionalities of Python. And to learn Python, right? To test the functionalities of Python and to learn Python. Batch mode. Okay, here, okay, what is the drawback you see within the interactive mode is, okay, for testing the functionalities for learning Python as a beginners, right? This interactive mode works better. But for developing applications in Python, right, this interactive mode is never preferred. So just for learning Python, this interactive mode, but for developing applications in Python, we go for batch mode, right? So here we write batch of statements. Here we write set of statements within the editors or IDs. Batch mode, here we write set of statements within the editors or IDs, integrated development environment, right? Yes, go for customized installation, everyone. We write set of statements within the editors or IDs and later submit and later save it by using .py extension.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
So once the class is over, can you repeat how to do the customized installation? I kind of missed it, and because I was trying to find the version that was fit for my Windows.
Okay, 1 second. Yours is Windows 10,
No, sir, Windows 7,
32-bit or 64-bit?
64-bit, sir.
Okay, which version you are trying to install?
Sir, I'm trying to install 3.7.
3.7. Are you getting any error?
No, sir. I can't. I don't know how to do the installation. That the optional features and all are there. I don't know which all to keep. Since
No.
it's
No
tested.
need to select anything, right? By
Mhm.
default, everything will be selected.
Okay, sir.
Go for customized installation. By default, you see everything got pre-selected. That documentation, ideally, test,
Yes, sir.
everything are selected.
Yes,
Say
sir.
next, say next,
Yes.
and you can see that installation, right?
Yes, sir.
Path, remove all that and just install in C drive. C
Yes, sir.
/ Python 310, right? Just to say next, you install, your installation will start now.
Okay, sir.
Right? Is it installing?
Well, no, sir. It just closed. I have to do it again.
Okay. If anybody facing problem with the installation, right, you can share your screen. Share screen option is available. You can share your screen. I can look your screen, right, where the error is. Right?
Yes, so the customized installation location, I have to change it, right?
Yeah, location, yes. Installation location, you just install in C drive. Remove,
Okay.
remove this everything, that remove that entire path. C:/Python 310 or 37.
Yes, sir.
Got installed?
Yes, sir.
Installing, right? Yes. Okay. So, okay, coming to this, we have got two modes of execution for Python. Interactive mode, where we can just, I was saying here, right? Statement by statement. If you type any statement, right? X equal to 10, for example, type Python here, go to the interactive mode. Yes, when will the regular class going to start? Today is the first class installation of Python. I'm right. Today is that class. I'm showing that installation of Python, Python versions, Python installation, execution modes, right? Today will be the regular class. Okay. Save it by using .py extension and later submit to Python. Okay. We write set of statements within the editors or IDs, save it by using the .py extension and later submit to Python. So what are the various editors where we can write the Python code? What are the various editors? Within the Windows, within the Linux, right? What are the various editors means? Within the Windows, we can write Python code within a notepad file. Edit plus. Yes. In Linux, right, we can go for VI editor, nano editor, VI nano, right? Yes. So we can write any of this VI nano in Linux, notepad, edit plus within this Windows, right? We can create a .py file and later submit to Python, right? Now IDs, in real time we use IDs, right? IDs, what are the various IDs for Python? So if you see outside left, we discuss on one or two IDs. I'm going to show you like nearly 5 to 6 IDs, right, of Python. Various IDs, right? Okay. PyCharm ID, PyCharm, Friday, Komodo, Spider, right? Eclipse used for Java, also for Python also it can be used. NetBeans also same, right, for Java and Python. And we have got Jupyter Notebook, right? Anaconda distributions, Jupyter Notebook, and Atom ID, Atom, right? ATOM, Atom, VS Code. Okay. So the mostly used ID, like PyCharm is the mostly used one, mostly used ID. Mostly used. PyCharm is the most. You may ask me a query, right? Why these many IDs for Python? Okay, PyCharm, right? Mostly used PyCharm, PyDev, Komodo, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans, Jupyter Notebook, Atom, VS Code, right? Yes. Okay. You may ask why these many IDs, why not one or two IDs means I said Python mostly used in different environments for data science, for big data environment, for automations, for embedded applications, for gaming applications, for desktop applications, right? So different environments, different IDs are preferred. For example, for data science, right? For data analysis, plottings, visualizations, data predictions, right? Jupyter Notebook is mostly preferred. And even Spider ID is preferred. For big data side also Spider ID is preferred. Jupyter Notebook is preferred, right? Yes. And for typical web applications, right, we use PyCharm ID is mostly preferred, Atom is preferred, VS Code is preferred. So different environments uses different IDs. I am going to show you how to download step by step and how to install and how to execute the code on these various IDs, right? PyCharm, Spider, Jupyter, Atom, VS Code. I'm going to show you later, right? Once we are done with a little bit of technical part, right? Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
The difference between Google Colab and Jupyter Notebook, and among both of them, which one is preferable for
See,
data visualization?
see, 1 second. Your Python code is not going to change, right? Your
Yes, sir.
Python code is not, whether whichever you are using, right? Your Python code is not going to change. It depends upon the environment you want for visualizing, for data analysis. Python used for different purposes, right? For gaming, for animations, for automations, for web applications creations, for networking, for all this, right? So if you want to go for data science, I ask you to go for Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebook, right? For data science, for data analysis. If you want, see, I can say there are two categories of people who got updated with Python, right? 1 second. For learning
Thank you,
Python, learning Python and updating with Python, there are two categories of people. First category of people, just give me a second, I'll come back to your query, right? Okay, first category is they get updated with Python, and after updating with Python, they'll go and implement Python in various high-end technologies like data science, big data, in writing scripts in AWS or DevOps, right? In IoT or in robotics. In this way, they are going to use Python in different high-end technologies. The first category of people who learns and updates Python and go for implementation of it. They use Python as an implementation language in this, right? Second category of people who wants to have a career in Python itself. Right? Okay. Second category. This first category, their career is not on Python. They will be in data science or big data or in AWS or IoT or robotics, but implementation with Python, right? But second category who wants to have a career in Python. Okay. Fine. The second category who wants to have a career in Python, right? They need to go with a framework of Python. They need to update with framework of Python, right? Python framework like Django. Okay. We have got many frameworks: Django framework, Flask framework, Pyramid framework, Bottle framework, TurboGear. Most famous is Django framework, right? Yes. Fine. So for this Python, who wants to have a career in Python, right? What are the ideas you need to explore? Is PyCharm is one, Atom, VS Code, Atom for web applications creations. Working on this PyCharm is mostly preferred. PyCharm is a licensed one. I'll just say how to work with PyCharm, right? Without license. Okay, and Atom is a free open source, no licensing required. VS Code is also fine. But if you want to go for data science or big data environment, prefer Jupyter Notebook or Spider. Okay, I'm going to give you the knowledge in all these IDs, right? Tomorrow, if you go to any environment, you can work with any of these IDs, right? I'll show you that download step by step, how to download, how to install, right? If possible, I'll ask you to download and install parallelly along with me, right? Yes. So in our course, right, I will be showing you some installations like this IDs installations, And one database installation I'll be showing you, right? How Python going to connect with database, and one database installation also. The database installation people can do along with me parallelly, step by step, right? So if anybody facing problem, they will be sharing the screen, right? Share screen option will be there in the system. So wherever we see complex installation, step by step, you can do along with me parallelly that day, right? I'll ask you before that I'll say you, so you can just download what is to be downloaded. You can download and keep it ready. Step by step, you can install, right? And as of now, I'll come back to this IDs once we are done with a little bit of technical content. Editors, let me show you one example, right? Developing the first Python application within an editor, right? Developing a Python application within a editor, right? Yes. Example like Notepad. Within the Notepad, we can write and create a .py file and execute that Python file, right? Yes. Open Notepad and type the following Python code. As of now, you doesn't know anything about Python. We are not done with any of this Python, right? Yes. So just I want to perform. I'll take two values, X and Y, right? And just perform some kind of arithmetic operations. X plus Y, X minus Y, X plus Y, addition, X minus Y, right? Subtraction, multiplication, and the division, right? Some kind of arithmetic operations. Okay. So just you need to type this within the Notepad file. I'll just copy it. I'll open a Notepad and I'll just I'm writing these statements within this Notepad. Save it. I already created a folder for this batch, right? Yes. In the C drive. Okay. Python 9 p.m. right? Yes. Here I'm saving it as sample1.py, right? Sample1.py. Okay. Now just open Notepad, write some Python statements, save it as .py extension, any name. Okay. Just I'm writing here. How did you write that? Save as sample1.py and now submit this file to Python. Now submit this file to Python as right. Now just how we are going to submit and execute this Python file, right? Sample1.py. So just in the search panel at the bottom right, type cmd to go to the command prompt. Type cmd and say enter. You will go to the command prompt. Type Python and don't say enter. Just type Python here. If you say enter, right, it will go to this interactive mode, line by line execution. Don't say enter, just give space and give the path where your Python file is available within the C drive. Python 9 p.m. folder. I've got a file with the name sample1.py. Give the file name, in which folder, in which drive, submit it to Python. Now you will get the output, right? Just enter. 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20, 10 by 20. Understood, right? You need to give that file path with present in which folder, which drive.
Sir, why you should use Python word?
You are submitting this file to Python. You are submitting this file to Python, right?
Because you already provide path and file name also with .ph extension. So that's why I'm asking, why should you use before that Python word?
See, you have created .py file in Notepad. Notepad is not a Python editor, right? The Python ID or any Python, it's not Python related. So you submit this to Python interpreter. We say like Python interpreter. If you say, okay, one second.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Observe this. Okay, we are supposed to submit it. So if you are not if you are using a VA editor in Linux, Nano editor in Linux, or Edit Plus or Notepad, all these are not Python related IDs, right? They are just text editors. Any kind of text you can write, any type of file you can create. But after creating the file .py or .java, if you say .java, okay, or .python py, right? You are supposed to submit it to that particular, right, application. Okay, so here I need to give the path to Python. Okay, now that's fine. But here, what is your observation here? You are writing within the notepad and executing at the command prompt, right? But here, we are writing at one place. Within the notepad, right? Within the notepad, you are writing and executing at the other place and executing at the other place. We are writing at one place and executing at other place, command prompt. But to write and execute, at the same place. To write and execute at the same place, we have IDLE, right? Which comes along with Python installation. So we are writing at one place and executing at other place. But to write and execute at the same place, we have IDLE, which comes along with Python installation, using which we can work with both interactive and batch mode. That's fine. Let me show you how to open this IDLE and how to write the code and how to execute the code at the same place. Writing and executing at the same place, and just copy the same code, right? Python code. So if you go to the start programs, right? Check where your Python is available in this list. Python 3.10, you can see, right? Python 3.10. Okay. Python 3.10, ideally you can just open. The first thing what we see in this Python 3.10, IDLE, Integrated Development Environment, right? Click it. Python shell gets opened in this way. Python 3.10.4. Here you can see this 3 arrow symbol where you can work with interactive mode. X is 10, Y is 5. What is X plus 4? X minus Y, X into Y, right? In this way you can interact. Sorry, Python is case sensitive, uppercase. Y I have given in uppercase, that's why you got that case, right? Okay. But I doesn't want to work with interactive mode. I want to work with batch mode. File, new file, that's it. Here itself we can write the code. Here run option is there. Run module, right? Yes. Write your code here. Save it first. We need to save first. later execution. Python, just I created a folder. I'll save all these files within this, right? Sample2.py. Run model, right? Yes, you can execute the code, right? What is the output? 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20, 10 by 20. Yes. We can write the code yourself. We can execute the code yourself, right? Yes. Okay. Fine. See, we write the code run module. We say, right? Yes. So this what 10 plus 20, 10 minus 10 into 10 by 20. Okay. So this is what ideally, right? Where once again you see in this Python, go to the start programs, check where your Python is available or installed, right? Okay, 3.10 you can click. Ideally, you can see the first one. Click it, you'll get this, right? Here you can say file, new file, right? Here you can write your code, that Python code, save it. Control S, saving is what? Control S. Run model. That's it gives the output, right? Yes. This is what? Okay. So developing the Python application within an editor, right? Later I'll show you how to work and how to install within these IDs once we are done with a little bit of technical content, right? So hope you understood like the Python software foundation, something about PSF, Python versions, the version that we are using like 3.10, three version within the three version 3.10, right? Yes. And Python installation, how to install in the execution modes, two modes, interactive mode and batch mode. Batch mode, okay. You know what many IDEs, right? We can work with Python editors like this. Okay, fine. So tomorrow just I'll be entering into some technical part, technical discussion will be. So any queries you have got, anything related to this today's discussion, like anything related to this Python course?
Uh, Sir, what version I need to install Python? Just a minute.
Versus Windows 10.
Uh, Here they have mentioned
No.
Windows enabled package 64 byte.
Yours is Windows only, right? You are working in Windows.
Yeah.
Okay, Windows.
At the bottom of the page on Python, there is a some title is like files, and they have given Windows enabled package 64 bit.
Okay, once again, I'll just take 1 minute in showing you the installation, downloading and installation process. So whenever you go to this python.org website, right? Just this is the official
I'm on the
website.
same page.
Go to the downloads.
Okay.
The downloads, go to all releases. Click that all releases. After clicking that all releases, if you can scroll down. Don't go for active Python releases. Don't select that. Go for looking for a specific release, right? Looking for a specific release. Okay, fine.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Here you can select Python 3.10.4. If you click it, it will go, you can open then 3.10.4. At the bottom, you can see the files. See, 64-bit Windows installer, 64-bit. Understood now?
Yeah.
You can select 34 or 62.
Hi, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I am Rajesh. Can I know how many days this course will continue?
It's for totally like Python core, Python advanced, and Python application oriented models combined like 75 to 80 hours, 2.5 months.
2.5 months. Sir, we are new to this software related area,
So
and
if you want,
maybe
anybody, if you want to choose for a fast track also, you can attend like 2 hours per day.
no, sir. We will go slow. We'll go slow. We are preparing that.
Okay.
Normally, just asking that we are everything will go smooth, or do we face any difficulties in the
No,
middle of the
no,
course?
no. If anybody, okay, no, if you want to fast track, you are supposed you'll be need to go with 2 hours per day or 3 hours per day need to attend. But if it is normal track, it will be like we'll be going like more like it will take like 2.5 months, right? 75 to 80 hours will be taking for this.
Okay, so these course class recordings are available for every day
Yes, yes.
along
Every
with the
day, every day
notes.
you will be getting the recorded, right? Recorded sessions will be getting that. So every day, every session is video recorded. Everyone you will be getting the yesterday's and day before yesterday's recordings. Have you got everyone? Can anyone please confirm?
Yes, sir. They have shared already.
You got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
One more question from my answer. Actually, I have no knowledge of any coding or any language because I'm from support side. So, is it okay?
So I was saying, right? Anybody with zero programming knowledge or non-programming, anybody can update with Python, right? But the only thing is, it's look like normal English statements. It's not like as complex as other programming. So you can, it's ours is interactive sessions, right? You can, if you got any query at any point of time, you can ask query. It's a small query or a bigger query. In briefly in asking that queries, right? It is and whatever statements I'm typing, you will be responding with the expected outputs, right? Whether
Yes.
your answers are correct or wrong, you will be keep responding in the sessions. That's what interactive sessions will be kept in unmuted status only. Everybody will be answering, right? As you do in your classrooms, right?
Thank you, sir.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So topic wise, I'll be providing you assignments, right? Because with assignments only, you are going to get a command on that subject. Building your own code. So at the end of the course, you'll be getting great command on the entire Python course, right? Yes. So tomorrow also, if people can attend, right? To append the session to see more on this Python. Fine. So
The timing is same, sir, at 9 p.m. every day.
every day 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not going to change.
Okay.
Fine. So if I'm done with your queries, then I'll sign off for today. Meet you tomorrow, same time. You can use the same link for attending tomorrow's session, right? Okay. Thank you all for your time. Thank you. Meet you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Good night.